The Stage 1 lockdown of Erongo region will lapse at midnight tonight, Monday, 22nd June 2020. The remaining 13 regions are due to migrate from Stage 3 to Stage 4 at midnight on Monday, 29th June 2020, that is next week. I will now proceed to highlight key measures that will become applicable for the Erongo region from midnight tonight, Monday, 22nd June 2020. Mindful of the adverse effects caused by a full lockdown on businesses, households, and livelihoods, and considering the region's capacity to respond to rising numbers of infection, the Erongo region will migrate from Stage 1 to Stage 3 at midnight tonight, Monday, 22nd June 2020, until midnight on Monday, 6 July 2020, for an initial period of 14 days or one incubation cycle. 2. Travel between towns in Erongo region and to the rest of the country will be permitted with exception of the Walvis Bay, Swakopmund and Arandis local authority areas. Considering the linkages and movement of labor between the towns of Walvis Bay, Swakopmund and Arandis, travel between these local authorities will be permitted. However, travel into and out of these local authorities areas to the rest of the country is highly discouraged and will be restricted to emergency situations only, as defined in the regulations, bearing in mind that the disease does not move by itself, but through human carriers. All residents are strongly urged to avoid unnecessary travel during this period and allow authorities to conduct the active case search at these two towns in effort to determine the extent or spread of disease into the community. 3. Essential services providers, as defined in the regulations, and truck drivers will be permitted to travel into and out of the region on the basis of an authorized permit. To avoid local truck drivers mixing with cross-border truck drivers, the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Social Services, are directed to identify separate truck ports and parking areas at Walvis Bay, Swakopmund and Arandis local authority areas. Local truck drivers are to be escorted by law enforcement officials to and from their respective delivery destinations. 4. Public gatherings at Erongo region will be restricted to 50 persons, with exception of Walvis Bay, Swakopmund, Arandis local authority areas, which will be restricted to gatherings of 10 persons only. 5. Education. Schools across the Erongo region that meet the COVID-19 compliance standards may resume face-to-face instruction for grade 11 and 12. For Walvis Bay, Swakopmund and Arandis local authority areas, the resumption of grades 11 to 12 and pre-primary grades 0 to 3 remains suspended for the next 14 days. Face-to-face instruction will be determined pending observation of the unfolding situation in those three towns. 6. Vulnerable persons in categories as defined will be permitted to work from home at Erongo region, subject to authorization issued by the employer and upon presentation of valid medical certificate. Old age homes should remain under isolation and caregivers should strictly adhere to the health and hygiene protocols. As I conclude the Erongo specific response, I reiterate that it has been a complex undertaking to draw a balance between protecting lives and supporting livelihoods. Government's approach to further relax national restrictions under Stage 4 aims to boost social and economic activities while continuing to advocate for intensified public adherence to health and hygiene protocols so as to safeguard our successes.